If you are watching this video right now, I need you to stop whatever else you are doing for the next few minutes because what we are about to discuss could literally save your trip, protect your visa, and help you avoid one of the most stressful experiences that thousands of travelers face every year when entering the United States. Many people assume that because we live in a digital age, everything can simply be stored on a smartphone. Boarding passes are digital. Hotel reservations are digital. Banking is digital. Airline tickets are digital. So naturally, many travelers believe immigration documents can also remain safely stored inside their phones. Unfortunately, that assumption can create serious problems at exactly the wrong moment. Imagine arriving at a major U.S. airport after a long international flight. You are exhausted. You have been traveling for 12, 14, maybe even 16 hours. You finally reach the immigration inspection booth. The officer looks at your passport and then asks for supporting documentation. Maybe it is your Form I-20. Maybe it is your I-797 approval notice. Maybe it is proof of employment, financial support documents, or evidence of your immigration status. You confidently reach for your phone only to discover that the battery is almost dead. The airport Wi-Fi is unavailable. The document you thought was saved offline is nowhere to be found. Suddenly, what seemed like a simple arrival becomes a stressful situation that could delay your entry for hours. This is not a rare occurrence. Immigration attorneys, travel professionals, university international offices, and employers sponsoring foreign workers have heard countless stories from travelers who relied entirely on digital copies of important immigration documents only to discover that technology can fail at the worst possible moment. The United States immigration system has certainly become more technologically advanced over the years. Government agencies now maintain extensive digital databases containing visa information, travel history, immigration petitions, entry records, and much more. However, there is a critical distinction that every traveler must understand. The government's digital systems are not the same as the documents you are personally required to carry and present. Customs and Border Protection officers use their own internal databases as investigative and verification tools, but that does not eliminate your responsibility to provide physical documentation when requested. In fact, in many situations, officers expect travelers to have original documents readily available and organized. When you arrive at a U.S. port of entry, whether it is a major airport, a seaport, or a land border crossing, the immigration inspection process moves quickly. Officers process hundreds and sometimes thousands of travelers every day. They are trained to evaluate documentation, verify identity, confirm the purpose of travel, and determine admissibility under U.S. immigration law. Every interaction matters. Every document matters. Every answer matters. If an officer requests supporting evidence, and you begin searching through multiple apps, opening emails, attempting to download files, or waiting for cloud storage to load, that can immediately complicate the inspection process. Even if your documents eventually appear, the delay itself can raise additional questions and trigger further scrutiny. This is why experienced immigration professionals consistently recommend carrying physical copies of all important immigration documents. Let us begin with students, because this is one of the largest groups affected by document-related travel problems. If you are entering the United States on an F1 student visa, your passport and visa stamp are only part of the equation. Your form is one of the most important immigration documents you possess. It demonstrates your enrollment at a student and exchange visitor program certified institution and confirms your eligibility to study in the United States. Immigration officers routinely request this document during entry inspections. Students who rely solely on electronic versions may find themselves in uncomfortable situations if technical issues prevent immediate access. Imagine spending years pursuing your academic dreams only to face unnecessary delays because your phone battery died during a long international flight. The solution is remarkably simple. Print your I-20, keep it protected. Carry it in your hand luggage every time you travel internationally. The same principle applies to employment-based visa holders. Individuals traveling on H-1B, L-1, O-1, TN, E-2, or other work-authorized classifications should always carry their passport, valid visa stamp, approval notices, employment verification letters, and any additional documentation that supports their eligibility for admission. Although immigration officers may have access to records showing approved petitions, supporting documents can become critically important if questions arise during inspection. A printed employment verification letter explaining your position, salary, work location, and continued employment can often help resolve concerns quickly and efficiently. Employers spend significant time and resources sponsoring foreign workers. It only makes sense for employees to invest a few minutes in properly organizing the documents that support their lawful entry. Green card holders often assume they have fewer concerns because they are lawful permanent residents. While permanent residence certainly provides greater stability, documentation remains essential. Your green card is your primary evidence of permanent resident status. U.S. law requires lawful permanent residents to carry proof of registration. More importantly, when returning from international travel, the physical green card remains the primary document used to establish your right to re-enter the country. While government systems contain records of your status, presenting the actual card significantly simplifies the inspection process. If you have a pending petition to remove conditions on residence or have filed other applications that affect your status, additional supporting documents may also be necessary. Receipt notices, extension notices, and other official correspondence should be printed and readily available. One category of travelers that frequently encounters challenges involves conditional permanent residence. Many individuals receive conditional residence through marriage and later file petitions to remove conditions. During the waiting period, their original card may expire while their lawful status continues through extension notices issued by immigration authorities. Unfortunately, some travelers assume a screenshot of their receipt notice is sufficient. That assumption can create avoidable complications. Physical copies of extension notices and related documentation provide stronger evidence during inspection and help officers evaluate the case more efficiently. When dealing with immigration matters, redundancy is your friend. Having both physical and digital copies provides multiple layers of protection. Now let us discuss one of the most misunderstood areas of immigration travel: extended absences from the United States. Lawful permanent residents who remain outside the country for lengthy periods often face additional questioning upon return. Officers may inquire about employment, property ownership, family connections, tax filings, and overall intent to maintain permanent residence. In these situations, supporting evidence becomes incredibly valuable. Bank statements, lease agreements, mortgage documents, utility bills, employment letters, tax returns, and evidence of family ties can all help demonstrate a continuing connection to the United States. Imagine trying to locate dozens of documents on a phone while standing before an officer who is evaluating whether you abandoned your permanent resident status. Physical organization can make a tremendous difference. Parents traveling with children should also pay special attention to documentation. International child travel can raise legitimate concerns regarding parental consent and child safety. When a child travels with only one parent or with a guardian, officers may request evidence demonstrating that the travel is authorized. A notarized travel consent letter from the non-traveling parent can significantly reduce complications and misunderstandings. Having that document physically available is far more effective than searching through email attachments during inspection. Families often spend months planning international trips. Taking the time to prepare proper documentation protects those plans from unnecessary disruption. There is another important reason physical documents matter, and it has nothing to do with technology. It has to do with perception. Immigration officers work under significant pressure and process enormous numbers of travelers. When an individual approaches the inspection area with organized documentation neatly arranged in a folder, it immediately communicates preparation, responsibility, and transparency. The officer can quickly review the information requested and move forward with the inspection. By contrast, when documents are scattered across multiple devices, email accounts, or cloud storage platforms, the process becomes slower and more complicated. While organization alone does not determine the outcome of an inspection, it can certainly contribute to a smoother experience. One of the best investments any traveler can make is a simple travel document organizer. Inside that organizer, keep your passport, visa documents, approval notices, employment letters, school documents, emergency contact information, copies of important identification, and any additional records relevant to your immigration category. Place the organizer in your carry-on luggage, never in checked baggage. Airlines lose luggage every day. Delays happen. Bags are misplaced. Your immigration documents should remain under your direct control from departure until arrival. This small habit can eliminate a tremendous amount of risk. At the same time, do not misunderstand this message. Digital backups are extremely valuable. In fact, every traveler should maintain secure digital copies of important documents. Store copies in encrypted cloud storage. Email copies to yourself. Save backups on secure devices. The key principle is that digital copies should serve as a backup system, not as the primary system. If physical documents are lost, damaged, or stolen, digital copies can become incredibly useful. But relying exclusively on electronic records introduces unnecessary vulnerabilities that can easily be avoided. Another issue that deserves attention is passport validity. Every year, travelers discover too late that their passport is nearing expiration. Many countries and immigration categories require passports to remain valid for months beyond the intended period of stay. Failure to satisfy those requirements can result in denied boarding, delayed travel, or complications during admission. Before booking international travel, review your passport expiration date carefully. If renewal is necessary, begin the process early. Waiting until the last minute creates stress that is entirely avoidable. Travelers who recently received new immigration benefits should also carefully review every document they receive. Verify your name, date of birth, classification, validity dates, and all other information. Government agencies process millions of applications annually, and occasional errors can occur. Discovering a mistake weeks before travel is far preferable to discovering it while standing at an international airport preparing to board a flight. A few minutes spent reviewing documents today could save weeks of frustration later. I also want to speak directly to those who assist family members, elderly relatives, or individuals unfamiliar with the immigration process. Sometimes the person traveling does not speak English fluently. Sometimes they're traveling alone for the first time. Sometimes they feel overwhelmed by the complexity of immigration paperwork. In these situations, preparation becomes even more important. Assemble a clearly labeled document packet. Organize everything logically. Include contact information for family members, attorneys, employers, schools, and other relevant individuals. Simple preparation can transform a stressful travel experience into a smooth and confident journey. As we move toward the conclusion of this discussion, I want to emphasize a broader lesson that extends beyond any specific document requirement. Immigration is one of the highest stakes administrative systems many people will ever encounter. Decisions made during inspections can affect education, employment, family reunification, business opportunities, and long-term immigration goals. Because the stakes are so significant, preparation should never be treated as optional. Every traveler deserves the best possible opportunity to present their case clearly, accurately, and efficiently. Carrying physical documents is not old-fashioned. It is not unnecessary. It is a practical strategy that reduces risk and increases confidence. The reality is simple. Technology is wonderful when it works. Smartphones are powerful tools, cloud storage is convenient. Digital records have transformed many aspects of travel, but batteries die, devices fail, internet connections disappear, applications crash. Immigration inspections are not the place to discover those limitations. When your future, your trip, your visa, your studies, your career, or your family plans depend on proving your status. Physical documentation remains one of the most reliable safeguards available. So before your next international trip, take a few minutes to prepare. Print the documents that matter, organize them carefully, verify that everything is current and accurate, keep them accessible throughout your journey. That simple act of preparation could save hours of questioning, prevent unnecessary delays, and help ensure a smooth entry into the United States. The goal is not fear, the goal is confidence. A prepared traveler is a confident traveler. A confident traveler is a traveler who arrives ready for any question, any request, and any situation. And that preparation may be one of the smartest travel decisions you ever make.